Yeah. Welcome to Earth2 Comic Cast. It's your boy MoeCrosby. I am going to be doing the Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1 recap for you guys. As you can hear, it's still like going. I still have like the coming now playing. So, sit back, relax, and as always,
Welcome to the planet.
Game of Thrones Season 7 is finally here, guys, and it starts off amazing. Like we get a feast. What I think I'd like to call the Red Feast is that's the opening scene, and in that scene we get Arya. We get Walder. Having a feast with his soldiers and his men, trying to tell congratulating them for a job well done for the Red Wedding. Whole time, and they pour wine, they're drinking, and Walder doesn't drink. Walder tells his young wife daughter not to drink, and she doesn't drink either, and they the men fall off. They die. And he unmasks, and it's Arya, yo. Like, this is even before opening credits, so it's amazing. Like, I don't even know where to. So much happened in this episode. It's so amazing. And we cut from there. We finally get the opening, and you have to pay close attention to the opening because I'm gonna try to do really limited on what happens. I know I couldn't talk about that opening without spoiling it for everyone. We get a whole lot of cameos in this episode, but we move past that. We get the opening. Pay close attention to the opening because the opening contains a lot of what is going to happen, literally in this episode. Of literally where everything is because what I noticed in the openings is anything that's going to happen or anywhere they're going to be in the excuse me in the in the episode, that's what you see in the opening. So yes, pay close attention to it. It's pretty awesome. I'm looking at it, and they cut scene. We go to Jon Snow, who's now literally the king in the North, making decisions, and they're talking about loyalties and who to trust and where to stand and all of these things. And like we have to train everybody for this war coming. And Jon is looking at the war as the war with the Walkers, not really paying attention to what's happening down south. But then again, it is winter, and for them to be able to get from the south to the north, it is very difficult in the way Game of Thrones describes it. So we have all of that going on. Sansa and Jon kind of butt heads because Sansa wants the Starks and the Umbers to pay for what they did to her family and to rob them. But Jon is like, we need everyone, and I'm not going to, like take their home away from them. I'm not going to punish them for the mistakes of their father. So they're still going to keep their homes, and we're still going to be tight with them. They swore allegiance to them. Everyone is getting ready to fight. Even Lady Mormont, the little girl, is like, yeah, like I'm a train, like was good. Like it's so dope. Everything happening is so crazy. Like we're so ready for, the thing to progress and everything to move forward. We get a scene where, and then we go to Kingsland. Then they leave this meeting, and then Sansa and Jon get into like, why did you cut me off? Or why are you arguing with me in the presence of the people, who are following us and all of this? Like, you shouldn't do that. And weakens my position. My decision is final. And Sansa's like, you need to listen to me. I've been there. I've seen these things, and that's what I think. I think Jon is coming from a position of, look, this war is what we need to be concerned about. I'm not concerned about them. And Sansa's like, I know this woman, Cersei, because Cersei sends them a raven, and it says, look, you come swear your fealty to me or you're going to suffer. And Sansa's like, we need to do something about that. Jon is like, we don't necessarily need to do anything about it, but yo, like, check it. And Sansa's like, I know those people. I know her. You remember what I told you about Ramsay and you didn't listen? You need to listen to me here because I know what's going on with them. I know how they act. I know how she is. And when she wants something, she wants it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's so crazy because she's right. But as a fan who's seen Sansa go through what she's gone through, you kind of want to say, why do you want to listen to her? But she's very right. Again, if you watch the Battle of the Bastards, she was right there too. She told Jon Ramsay was going to antagonize her, and he did. She didn't listen. He almost lost that. So I'm starting to get the feeling of Sansa's not feeling respected now as she needs to. So I don't know how this is gonna happen, but I feel like they're gonna come to a head. They have to come to a head because at some point, Sansa's experience with the outside world, which Jon hasn't had, is going to come back to bite Jon in the butt. Him not listening to her. Littlefinger's still there, and Brienne asks Sansa what Littlefinger's still doing there. Sansa's like, we need his men. You know, they need to be here. We need to keep them. We need him here so we can have his men. Which is also the truth, because at the end of the day, he saved them from, or because of her, because of that union, or the two of them, they were able to save each other from, the battle of the bastards. My thing is, Littlefinger wants in to the family. He wants to be a part of that family. He married my aunt. He killed her. He's the lord of the Vale, but he still needs to be more into the family. So I think personally, he's going to try to get with Sansa. Little weird, but we'll get there when we get there. We move to King's Landing now after everything has happened, and we get Jaime and um, Jaime's back in King's Landing. You remember in season 7 he got sent away, but now he's back, and everything is. Then he's having an argument with Cersei, like, "What are you doing? Like, you're preparing for war, or you're trying to get me to be a general and to talk to you about war matters when our son is dead." And she's not. She's like, "Well, he betrayed me." Like, Cersei's cold. Like, we saw Cersei. We saw at the end of last season is who we're still looking at now. She's cold. She doesn't have any regards or remorse for anyone else. She only thinks about herself and maybe her love for Jaime, maybe. But Jaime's like, we need. So they've had this discussion about what they need, or what where Daenerys is gonna land, and it's like, okay, she's gonna land here. What do we need? We need followers. We need a system. We need people. Who do we have? Well, we had Walder. Walder is dead now, so we don't even have his people because his people are dead. What's the move? And so now we get Euron Greyjoy. Remember Euron Greyjoy, the guy who killed Theon's father from last season? Yes, he's back in this season, and he's even more amazing and shadier as ever because he's now said he wants to marry Cersei. Because for him to be able to give Cersei his ships and his men, he wants to also be in. Everyone is trying to be in at this point, and he says to her, "At least when you marry me, I'm gonna have two good working hands." Shade, because that was a direct shot at at Jaime Lannister. Take away that, and then move further down into the sea, into the. So we get in. So we cut from there, and then we go to Sam, who's at this point learning to be a maester. What we get is just a bunch of scenes, a montage of scenes with Sam is just not even learning to be a maester at this point. He's doing is changing bedpans. He's like a nurse, literally changing bedpans in and out and swapping them out for other bedpans, and not really getting the knowledge that he really wanted to get until when he talks to one of the other maesters and tells him, "Look, I've seen, what everyone has been talking about. I've seen the dead men. I've seen the walkers, and you guys don't know what you're in for. Like, they're actually crazier than we thought. Things are actually crazier than we thought." And the old maester tells him, "Look, nothing is happening. Nothing is going to happen." Just like an old person would tell you, nothing is happening. Nothing is going to happen. From way before our time, something like this happened, and it got squashed. And another time, something happened and got squashed. And Sam is like looking at the guy like, "What are you talking about? This is not like, I don't think this is like the accounts of old." But he's not saying anything because Sam is very timid and is very shy. He keeps everything to himself. So halfway through it, Sam steals a book from the library, and he takes that book home and he's looking through it, and he finds a mountain of dragon glass under the islands where the Targaryens are from. So, at this point, we're hoping Sam is gonna get to find a way to get it to Jon Snow, and so that Jon can go there. I think it's gonna all come through at the end of the season, or somewhere this season, where we're gonna have Sam, Daenerys, and Jon meet up, and it's just one big thing. But for now, Sam is just trying to help, find Dragonglass. And Jon has ordered all the maesters in Winterfell to look for to look for through their records for any mention of Dragonglass. So this is I think it's all gonna connect. Um, we get to see one of the cameos that we've been waiting for, that we heard was going to happen. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was in this, and he was pretty okay. He did a pretty good job. I mean, he was singing pretty much, but it was pretty dope. Like, just to see Ed Sheeran, like, I wasn't even expecting it. I was watching and I heard the voice, and I look up and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Ed Sheeran. That's Ed Sheeran. So yeah, Ed Sheeran is in here, and yes, he was he was a very welcome addition, and it was nice to see Ed Sheeran. Finally, after all the news that we heard, he was going to be in it. And Arya, in one of the most cryptic, crazy scenes ever, they ask her what she's doing going to King's Landing because it's a bunch of men, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill the queen." And even my reaction to when she said that was, I bust out laughing. I couldn't even hold it in. I bust out laughing, but that was their reaction also. Um, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? We get to see what happened to Jorah after, after Dany has sent them away to go get the cure for his scale disease, and we get to see we don't really see his face. We just see an arm and we hear a voice. And in my estimation, that is Jorah, Sir Jorah. What have I not covered? I also believe I missed two things. Yes, so finally, after everything that has been happening, Bran gets to the wall. Finally. But before he gets to the wall, we get a scene with walkers. We see the White Knight, and we see all the other White King and all the other walkers. And we see a couple walkers that I wasn't even expecting. Remember the giant from last season that died? He's a walker now. So yes, things are turning up. We have giant walkers and a lot of other things. And also, John has tasked the free folk to go to the wall and to watch the wall, or to go to another part of the wall and watch the wall. So it's a lot of politicking that went down in this episode. What do I think about it? I thought it was a very first things first. I thought it was a very, very good opening. I'm missing one more thing. Dany's finally here. She's finally on land. She's again where the Targaryens are from. She landed in where the Targaryens are from, and yeah, that was a very it was an okay scene, I guess. It was just something to hold on to. It was the end of the show, so she didn't really do anything or have any words. She just walked in, saw her throne room, and oh, you're home, I guess. No, actually, I'm sorry, I missed another one. The Hound, Clegane. Remember, he's now back with the Fire Knights, or the Fire, the Lord of the Fire Knights, or whatever. That group, that band, and they're together now, and all of it, so it's all like all of them together, and they're like just, they get to a spot, and it's winter, and they get to a spot, and it's like, what, they get to this house, they get in the house, and someone lights a fire, and they ask Clegane, the Hound, to go look in the fire and tell them what they see. And he gives this vision. He stares in the fire and gives this vision of the walkers and the wall, and every that war happening. And so, just so I think this episode was to foreshadow the war coming through. Like, it's coming. I think this season we're gonna get the war, and they didn't shy away from talking about it or talking it up, so, or talking any war up, because I think we're gonna get the War of the Five Kingdoms, because we have the Five Kingdoms. That sounds like a Lord of the Rings, but we're gonna get the war. That we have the South, the South. We have John, and we have Dany up there, and we're gonna have the White Walkers. So I think I'm missing someone. If I'm missing someone, let me know down in the comment section. I really, really appreciate it. But yes, Game of Thrones is back. It was a very, very awesome opening episode. It was a very awesome opener. Just the episode's opener itself was even more awesome. So I have nothing but love for this show. Like, I'm ready. I'm all in. I hope you guys are all in too. And I don't know what else to say, what else to add. If I'm missing something, or if I missed something, can you guys let me know that in the comment section? I really, really would appreciate it. And again, this is Earth 2's first Game of Thrones ever, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get better at this as we move through the season. But hey, come back and check us out again, alright? Also check us out on social media, Earth2 Comic Cast, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I will be trying to live tweet the episodes on Twitter, so be sure to check out for that. Also, podcast. We have a podcast for Earth2 Comiccast, and that's moving to AudioMac. And again, with our podcast moving to AudioMac, we used to have it on SoundCloud. It's still on SoundCloud, but right now we're in the transition mode to AudioMac. It's audiomac.com/Earth2 Comiccast. You can't miss it. It's the same name for everything. Again, this has been episode 1 of Game of Thrones, season 7. A little recap and breakdown, and I just told you how I felt about it, and I told you how ready I am for the rest of it. It's been your boy MoeCrosby. Check back in next Sunday for another episode, reaction, review, and breakdown. Go for your long bounce.